Hey everybody, this is Brittany here from Surfing Waves of Light. Sitting up and while I was chilling with my mom, didn't feel tired as per usual. I'm always feeling really awake at night, tired during the day. And this whole thing happened. Where to begin? So my guides, it's funny how things present themselves in life in the perfect time. So the other day, my boyfriend, Greg, came home and this guy told him to watch a documentary about Kurt Cobain. I'm aware of Nirvana, but I really probably couldn't have named one of their songs by name, which I'm not really good at names anyway. Obviously, ear recognition, I probably knew some, but I never think I've ever once went on Spotify and did a Nirvana song to listen to. But funnily enough, when I was a kid, I lived with my two older cousins. They were twins, Jamie and Lauren. They loved punk rock and Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. And when I was young, I remember them saying Courtney killed Kurt. And I didn't know what I was saying, but I would tell people that because they were my older cousins. They were really cool. And yeah, so anyway, just a funny tie because things in life, they always have a way of coming back to you. So we watched some parts of some documentaries, and it was pretty gnarly, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the stuff that happened to Kurt and his band and the things that he wrote, and just a lot of it was really dark. But if you listen to Nirvana, musically and lyrically, this guy expressed something that was deep in the collective consciousness. And I was sitting here and I just got inspired to grab my guitar and come downstairs to help me settle down for the night and try to go to sleep. And I was sitting here, and the song I felt inspired to play was Where Did You Sleep Last Night by Nirvana. It just goes like this. My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine. I'll be sleeping the whole night through. It keeps going like that. So, funny enough too, one of my other cousins had been playing this song in front of me probably a year or so ago. So these little things that come up in the background. Then, after I played the song through a few times, just kept playing the parts I was inspired, my mind got quiet and another song came into my head. It was really simple, but I just started recording some of it. I'll just play you a little bit, parts of it. I'm going to put the whole thing that I just literally channeled as if I was channeling for you. I just hit record as soon as I heard it and just played some of it and just sang whatever came out. Went like this. So I get high, just a little I get by, just a little I can try every day. And I don't know where I'm going, I don't know. I'm just flowing in that coast, round with the waves. be free. To be who I am, I'll be free. I'm not them and I'll be free to light my way. Something like that. I'm still making up lyrics even in that moment. Some are the same, some are not. And then I just felt like I got a message from my guides. And I'm sharing this whole thing with you because this has been coming for a while, like this information. And tonight I felt like my guides really like synthesized it. And I feel, I haven't directly channeled this yet, that sometimes when I can't fall asleep at night, it's because I have work to do, aka spiritual work, channeling work, expressive, either songs or messages. So anyway, so like everything kind of came together tonight. And I've been thinking about Kurt a lot. Again, no real connection to this guy. Don't really know many of his songs. You know, he's been in the general vibe, but I never, it wasn't grunge or punk rock or anything like that. Still love Taylor Swift, things like that. But I sat here and I just said, I've been thinking, who are my musical guides? And I just don't know. But tonight, I felt like Kurt Cobain was present. And then I started channeling about him, and it felt really relevant. So I wanted to capture it for all of you and also just give you all a chance to see kind of behind the scenes how things evolve for me. It's sort of these nights that I can't predict. And shout out to my Aunt Tara. This is why I don't always have my microphone. Sorry if you guys can't hear me. I'm really going to work on that, keeping it with me. But it just kind of comes out of nowhere. And that's when I get my best information, especially random things like Kurt Cobain. Never think about him. And then all of a sudden he's in my field. And sometimes I'll watch a documentary or something and it like totally leaves me. And then other times I'll watch something and it stays with me. And I'm like, okay, there's something here for me. And even when I watched it, there was definitely stuff that was there for me. So I introed this video long enough. I'm going to bring through whatever energy this is that wants to speak about Kurt Cobain music, the collective consciousness, forgiveness, unconditional love. There's a lot, so let's see how they formulate it through me once I get more focused. Thanks for watching, everybody. Greetings, dear beings. We are the energies of heat. We are the energies of love. And for the purpose of this message, you can call us the heated energies. We are here to transmit a message to this current collective conscious in regards to reflections of the past, in regards to mind illusory sins that have gone unforgiven, in regards to how beautiful you all can be and all express, no matter what state your human life is in. Many beings who have explored the life of this being, Kurt Cobain, would probably classify it as pretty intense, full of quote unquote sins, drugs, lower frequency expressions, ideas, and impurities. And yet this being who suffered so much, who stared in the eye a time when the illusion of this planet was so strong, attempted to kill himself and hurt himself over and over again. And yet, even in the midst of this misery, of this quote unquote disgrace, he inspired an entire generation by expressing what he was experiencing. You see, dear beings, many of you, including this one, judge yourselves where you are on the earthly plane. The mistakes and the tragedies that occur in the human form can be held within a conscious, within an energy field for long, long periods of time. And yet every experience can inspire. Every experience can assist to create. Every experience can be the moment that you decide to bring through the light and the love that you truly are. Judgment is what separates us from each other. Judgment is what causes us all pain. Judgment destroys the possibility of seeing the beauty in each individual being. For individuality may seem unloving and not fun from the higher perspective. And yet when you're in it, you can still appreciate the beauty that each being can bring. And so we reflect tonight on this being, Kurt Cobain, one of this being's musical guides. In her own way, she can relate to some of the experiences this being had. Not that her experiences were as extreme or tragic as Kurt's, but his work in his lifetime was much different than her work in this lifetime. You see, this being, Kurt Cobain, he was responsible to lift the veil on the current illusion that was occurring in his time era. In his time, there was the hard and fast, ingrained idea of white picket fences, perfect marriages, and illusory expectations of beings to get perfect jobs, to be a certain way, to live the American dream as it was classified. And yet Kurt, being of a family that divorced and then separated from him in many different ways due to his behaviors and his inability to cope, they created a beautiful being, one that was able to express an experience of the collective consciousness. You see, many of you experience tragedy, experience unloving circumstances, but you do not express them. You do not create from them. And yet this being did. Now, was every song, every writing, drawing, or poem this being created of the highest good? Well, yes, because all is perfect. And at the same time, of course, some of the things that came from this being were crude, rude, and unusual. And yet, if you all honestly looked into your egoic aspects of the mind and released them without judgment, you would see that there is much of this twisted thinking in the mind, and yet you all work so hard to push it down. This being Kurt, charged with his life plan, as well as experiencing such shame and resentment that he chose to fully embrace that shame and not hide who he is, who he was in that way, there was much beauty that came. His work would not have resonated with an entire generation of kids, of adults now, of adults even then, if there was not some aspect of the unloving society that he was picking up on. You see, he was like the key to the chest to unlock the illusory veil of that time. And you all are the keys to the chest to unlock the illusions that are currently occurring in your time. And just as you walk your path, it need not be as extreme as this being Kurt Cobain, as his experience here on planet Earth. But yet, you all have a similar path to walk in becoming and expressing not only the loving sides of yourselves, but the dark sides, knowing that through this expression, one, you will most likely notice through that expression that you are not alone in those thinkings, in those feelings, for you have all been mass entrained, mass brainwashed together using similar context and content and unloving idea. And two, that through this expression, you can release these aspects of your mind. You cannot release from your mind the things that you cannot see. And so you shove them down, but yet as you shove them down, they stay with you. And in that response to emotional hardship, the choice to shove things down, you actually choose to keep them with you. And so yes, if you look at the life of Kurt Cobain, he may not have fully transcended all of his unloving thoughts and ideas, but yet even in the expression of them, he created an opening of discontentment for an entire generation, for the entire world, one that was much needed for the evolution of consciousness. Was it all pure and joy? No, but it identified hurt, hardship, and unlovingness that was apparent, that was happening on earth. Just because you don't acknowledge the unloving aspects of your society, that does not make society loving. And yet, so many beings still to this day walk around like working 90% of your life is the norm, and celebrating and experiencing life at a much older age is the norm, and dying, having not lived out all the experiences that you have been inspired to live, is the norm. This society is unloving in so many ways, and this is not bad, but this needs to be recognized and needs to be expressed, for in that expression, you release the lock that this energy is holding on you. It is a reflection of you, the unlovingness. And so embrace it. Bring it to the light. Sing about it. Write about it. Be angry. Be sad. Be grieving. Be judgmental. Be all these things in your own space and your own time, and allow the creative juice that can inspire a generation to flow through you. No matter what the expression is not important. What is important is who you are and being honest about what you are experiencing. Are you going to a job that is treating you unloving? Are you in relationships with other beings who are not honoring who you are? Are you being disrespected or unloved in some way? You cannot fast forward to forgiving everything. That is the eventuality. But first you must acknowledge what you are feeling. Acknowledge your feelings as valid, no matter how dark and dingy they may be. Express them in your own time, in your own journal, in your own way. Not to that person, but in your own way. And then see what you discover about yourself. Kurt Cobain may not have seemingly lived a beautiful life, But from our perspective, there is much beauty in shedding light on an illusion, on the illusions of marriage, on the illusions of American life. And it was through his courageous expression of those dark times that an entire crack in the illusion opened up. He placed the seed in the subconscious of many beings that this world is not what it is selling itself to be. This world is not what the news says it is or what other people say it is. There is an element of dissociation that occurs here that is of the highest magnitude. And this plays out both on the earthly level as well as, of course, on the separation from God, from Source, from what you truly are, which is love. So on your journey back to love, know that you are going to encounter the unloving, ugly aspects of yourself, and yet find a way to make them beautiful. Find a way to make the expression of yourself, of these moments, beauty, inspiring, not blaming, not judging, not resenting. How can you transform and transcend and learn from Kurt's journey? For his journey was perfect. He was meant to be exactly who he was. He played his part. And so we ask you to play yours. For it is through the full expression of your part that you will transcend, that you will learn, and that you will be able to forgive all things here and come back to the love that you are, to God, to Source, to Creator, to being, human being, to just being. We are the energies of heat. We have been with this being for a long time, and we are with many of you. We have come to this being in her moments of feeling like she fucked up, in her moments of feeling resentment and shame and embarrassment. When her mind gets to that level, she physically excretes heat throughout her whole body. Sweat, heat, exhaustion. It sweeps through her. And yet this is not bad. It is an acknowledgement. It is an awareness. It is for her to see how those thoughts do not serve her. And yet tonight, in the acknowledgement of us, in the allowing of us to come through her, she is able to have more clarity on how to move forward every day. And to confirm her statement in the beginning of this video, yes, she is here to express. Yes, we keep her up late at night to express. For this work is important, and it has been hard for her to acknowledge that she is a channel, and yet we keep her up at night because this is our quiet time with her, when we can get through to her and when she can really hone in on this very important work that she's doing. And now that she has expressed us this very important message for the collective conscious at this time, we will allow her to be tired, and we will assist her into a deep, relaxing sleep. We love you all so very much. We are the energies of heat, and we will speak to you again at another time. All right, everybody, that was pretty wild. This is my cat Ash, because if you do listen to the song that I'll post on my Buy Me a Coffee page, Ash is in it. he was sitting here. He came up and hung out with me. And these cats are super nice, but they're not like snuggly cats. And sometimes they'll just ignore you and don't care what you're doing. And kind of took it as a sign as the energies and everything. And yeah, I used to get that heat thing when I would mess up at the hospital, like anytime I've been embarrassed. So it's just wild how things come together. Even tonight, like this whole Kurt thing. And again, not super attached to him, but it's just funny when I was a little kid, my cousins were. So, watch the influences that are around you, because whether you think they're related to you or not, or you like them or not, there's probably a message for you in them. So I love you guys all so much. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. I'm very hot right now. I'm going to take a shower. And yeah, so that's Ashy. That's Ash. We will see you again at another time.